I like to use the analogy of an airplane taking off or landing to help teach the concept of a good upward and downward transition. And we're going to pretend this is a horse. So a good upward transition involves the front end lifting off smoothly and then leveling out like you've gained altitude and now you're just kind of cruising. And then when you're ready to land or to do a downward transition, then you would smoothly come downward but forward at the same time. So as you land the plane, there is a downward and then an immediate forward, and that prevents the plane from bottoming out. And then as you're landing, you would potentially be able to take off again should anything go wrong. So that would be a good upward transition, not sudden, smoothly leveling out and then descending, as opposed to like a helicopter transition, which would be sudden liftoff and a sudden landing where you would plunk down. And if you were flying a plane and you were landing that plane, if you plunk down, you're going to bottom out the nose. The nose of the plane is going to take way too much pressure, and you would be unable to lift off again. So it would be dangerous for one, but it would be a very unpleasant and jarring transition. Here are some examples of that. This is a sudden upward transition where he hops upward. So instead of going forward, he hops upward. There's leverage from the front end to jump into the transition instead of a smooth climb. And this is a downward transition that was bottomed out. So he locks his forelegs and crashes down onto the forehand too suddenly. So he would be unable to trot again if asked. And then here we have another one. Again, that's too sudden. He's unable to trot again if I ask him. He's unable to make a rhythmic upward transition. You'll watch those front legs and those hind legs scramble a little bit. Front legs lock, and then there is a bottoming out. So he's unable to trot right out of that walk. So he's walking, but he would not be able to trot smoothly again. So the plane would not receive any liftoff. And then here we have a rhythmic trot, getting ready for a downward transition into walk. And then we have a lot more forward-thinking downward transition. So the availability of trot is just a few steps away, and there it is. So he basically keeps his head pretty level when we make a correct downward transition. There is a clear 4-beat walk coming right out of that trot, and the trot is available again pretty quickly. So here we have it again, a 4-beat walk right out of a trot. We have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is a clear rhythmic transition wherein the plane landed smoothly and the trot was available a few strides later. So if you watch the limbs, they are swinging rhythmically without interruption, as opposed to those initial transitions, which were very jerky and very choppy. So I often tell people, look at the legs of the horse. Don't focus so much on the head, but watch the entire body and think about rhythm in your transitions.